Good evening, YouTubers. Welcome back into another edition of Astros Recap. David Artis here once again, breaking things down for you. Another Sunday as we're having performance issues. Okay, I think that's better. Sometimes what I see on my screen is different from what you see on YouTube, so we'll just bear with me here. But yes, it is Sunday night, 11:04 p.m. August 22nd, 2021, as the Astros have wrapped up another week. Disappointing week as they went 3-4 overall. Before I do get into things, just a quick mention here. I'm a little under the weather tonight, so I think my voice still sounds okay, but if I sneeze a few times or have to blow my nose, as my nose has been pretty runny all day, I just want to apologize in advance for that. But obviously, the Astros had a good week last week, 4-1, right? As they won both games against Colorado and then went on the road and took 2 of 3 from LA. Obviously losing Sunday, so it was a little disappointing. Astros, same thing this week. So didn't have a good week, 3-4 in their 7 games, but losing 3 of 4 in Kansas City. In fact, losing the first 3 in that series, salvaging the Thursday matinee finale before coming back home here. But yeah, I mean they did beat Seattle 2 of 3, which is good news, but not enough this week. Just overall, if they were able to, once again, another opportunity to sweep a team, another opportunity missed. So they've had trouble with this all year. They've had trouble beating bad teams or teams with records under 500. They don't have trouble with teams that are good with records over 500 or the playoff caliber teams. It's just been a weird season. They still got a month, a little more than a month of baseball to get things together here, but they're still in good shape. They're first place or division, 3.5 game lead. So in terms they're pretty good. I just think that they have to find a way to they really should be better than what they are right now. With the teams that they've played, they're 22 games, they're 73-51. So you think of that record, you think, wow, that's pretty good. Yes, and I agree, that is pretty good. I think that's as good as I could hope for. If we started the season, and my door's open tonight, so I forgot to close it. But yeah, if we were to start the season, and you told me we'd be 73-51 after 124 games, whatever it is, I would probably take that in a heartbeat. But yeah, it's just the way things are. Obviously, Kansas City, a place that they've had success at past few years. They'd won 11 straight in that ballpark at Kauffman Stadium there, I believe, until this week. But the offense was pretty dead. So just lifeless. It just all looked bad from the start. Let's see here. As we go back here, they lose Monday. This was a tough loss, 7-6. Astros had their chances to really win this game, but I'm trying to see here. Give me a second. Sneeze is coming on. So yeah, like I said, excuse me on that. But I'm trying to remember exactly what game. But the Astros score first inning run. They actually go down. They were down 3-1. Score 2 in the 5th to tie it. They take the lead in the 6th, then they give it up. So it was back and forth a lot in this game. But really the big issue in this game, Dusty Baker made a bad decision. Dusty's made his more than fair share of bad decisions this year. Give me 1 second here. So yeah, cold, creeps up on me there. But Dusty made a bad decision because the Astros are tied going into the bottom half of the 8th. No, wait, yeah, they're tied. Yeah, they're tied going into the bottom half of the 8th at 5. And Yimi Garcia, who's in the game, who's not, I'm okay with Yimi Garcia being in the game. He's had pretty solid numbers this year. After Odorizzi only goes 5 1/3. Odorizzi, another not very good start. 4 earned runs, walked 2, struck out 2. He's a mess. Odorizzi can't really put together good starts. Like he pitched yesterday, I think he pitched pretty well. But I mean, it's a bad start, good start. It's a little back and forth now. His last few turns out there, so. But Maton comes, he gets 2 outs, gets through the 6th for Odorizzi. Stanek pitches an 8th, or the 7th, gives up an earned run, walks a guy, 2 strikeouts. And then, Garcia's in, you're tied at this point. And he strikes out the first 2 hitters in the inning, I believe. But then he gives up a hit. Anyway, situation here. Salvador Perez, the best hitter on Kansas City, with first base open, second and third, 2 outs. Very simple. You walk him. You don't pitch to Salvador Perez. Like, out of all the hitters in that Kansas City Royals lineup, he's the one guy that can and probably will hurt you. And sure enough, that's what happened. Dusty just amazes me with some of the moves he makes. It's like, I mean, we've been through this. I haven't harped on Dusty or, roasted him lately like I had earlier in the season with some of the moves he made, but this was definitely the wrong move. I mean, it was first and third, I think, when the at-bat started. There was the runner stole second base. That might have been fielder's indifference or whatever it was, but then you had first base open. You have a tie game. You're pitching to, I think the on-deck hitter wasn't nobody to be scared of. But you don't pitch to Salvador Perez in that situation. I'm sorry, I don't care. And Dusty did it with the open base, and he loops one, up the first right field line, dumps in, scores 2 runs. Castro does hit a home run in the 9th, but ultimately we lost that game 7-6. That's a game the Astros should have won, but that didn't bother me too much. Even Tuesday's loss didn't bother me too much. Wednesday's loss really did, because Dusty, once again, offense struggling. Just to go through Tuesday real quick, they lose that 3-1. So I mean, they really took the lead in the 3rd. But that was all they scored. Frommer, tough luck loss in that game. I don't think Frommer was great though. He's okay. 6 2/3, 9 hits, 3 earned runs, a quality. Walked only 1 guy, struck out 5, and then Pedro Baez got the last 4 outs. So Baez has been pretty solid, I guess, but hasn't been put in any high leverage spots up to this point, at least. But yeah, that's a story there. I didn't do much. I mean, offensively, you scored 6 runs on Monday, which usually you'd think would be good enough, but in that situation it wasn't. Wednesday game was upsetting because the Astros looked like they couldn't score forever, so the offense was in a rut. Jason Castro finally comes through with 2 outs and the bases loaded and hits a 2-run single to give him the lead. And here we go. It's funny as I watch this, I very rarely do I show emotion during a game, but when Castro came through to score 2 runs, I clapped my hands a few times, which is rare for me, especially if I'm watching the game at home, but I did that there. But that slowly dissipated, because after he hit that 2-run single, Blake Taylor's warming up in the bullpen. And Blake Taylor just does not... This year it's different. Last year I was okay with him. Not okay, I actually felt good with him. But last year was last year. It was a weird year. It's not the same this year. Yeah. Sorry, I had to do that there. But yeah. Blake, this is also on Dusty. I'm going to put this loss on him as well. Dusty, what are you doing, man? You're killing us. But, so Blake Taylor comes in. He doesn't even record an out. He gives up a hit. He gives up a 2-run home run. And just like that, now not only did we give up the lead, but the Royals took it 3-2. He gets an out. Great. See, the Astros were desperate for a win. Greinke was great, 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, had no walks, didn't even strike out anybody, but lowered the ERA. Blake Taylor comes in, screws things over, and then you go to Graveman to get 5 outs. Explain to me this. So the Astros are desperate for a win because they lost three in a row going into this game. You have a well-rested Graveman, a well-rested Presley. You're in desperate need of a win. You get a 1-run lead, so no margin for error. I don't care who you have in that bullpen. I am using Graveman and Gregerson. Excuse me, Graveman and Presley. What am I saying? Graveman and Presley to get 9 outs. Graveman used to be a starter. He can definitely get you 6 outs. And heck, he came in the game, got you 5 outs. So if you just use Graveman at the that's on Dusty. I'm not going to get into it. Dusty deserves the blame for that one, and I will put the blame on Dusty. So he deserves blame on Monday and Wednesday's game because his horrible decision making is what cost them that game. Cost him both those games, and he's cost them at least 5 others prior to that, at least, with his terrible decision making. So yes, Dusty, I'm blaming you. They finally they salvaged the game on Thursday. Went to extra innings. They went at 6-3. It wasn't pretty, but take the win there. Friday and Saturday, they just absolutely whooped up on the Mariners, 12-3 and 15-1. So those weren't even close games. No stress there. Home runs on Friday. Jake Myers, Yordan Alvarez, Yuli Gurriel, Martin Maldonado all hit home runs there. Let's see here. McCullers started, got the win. Wasn't awesome. 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs. Brooks Raley had a scoreless inning. I think I heard today he hit a guy, but he also struck out the side. But again, I'm not going to judge Brooks Raley on pitching a meaningless inning where he goes scoreless because it. But Baez comes in. Baez gives up a home run. But other than that, it was pretty good. Yimi Garcia scoreless 9th with 2 strikeouts. So 12-3. I mean, we had that game wrapped up after 4 or 5 innings. Saturday was more the same. They win this 15-1. Alvarez hit a home run. Taylor Jones hit a home run. In fact, Taylor Jones was a single shy of the cycle. Odorizzi had a pretty good outing here as he went 5 2/3. 4 hits, 1 earned run, walked 4, struck out 8, so not incredible, but good enough. I mean, we scored 15 runs, so. Maton gets 4 outs, he was clean, didn't walk a guy, gave up a hit. Blake Taylor, scoreless inning, and Baez again. Baez has been getting some opportunities. He walked a guy, struck out 2. 15-1. But today, I mean, everything was lined up for him today. And they really coughed this up. So I'm at work. I couldn't watch. I didn't watch a whole lot of Saturday or Sunday's game. I was at work most of the day. So today, scored 2 runs. I know Yordan hit another home run. So I think for Yordan, that's 3 home runs in 3 games for Yordan. So maybe he's getting hot. They scored another run, I believe, on an error. It was a tough luck error by Seager, third baseman for Seattle. But had a 2-0 lead for most of the game. They actually had opportunities to add on and actually, open up the game a little bit. Weren't able to do it. Graveman comes in, gives up a run in the 8th, and Presley gives up a home run in the 9th, and you look up and you're tied 2-2. 10th inning here. Brooks Raley gets the 10th, actually, and does a good enough job, I would say. They did cut down the lead runner, ground ball to shortstop, and he flipped to Diaz at third, and they cut down that leadoff runner at second base. And then Raley was able to get out of it. Didn't make things easy. He put runners at second and third, but got a strikeout to get out of the inning. And I hate Brooks Raley when he comes off the mound pumping his fists and dude, you're not a good reliever. Look at your ERA. You don't deserve to go out there and pump your fists and get all hyped up because you got out of an inning that you made more complicated. I mean, dude, he doesn't deserve to be able to do that. He's not good enough. Like, if you're a good reliever and you get big outs, then okay. Like, Will Harris was a guy who was like that for many years with the Astros that would get pumped up. And he had every right to be pumped up because he was actually a good, reliable reliever. Brooks Raley's not that guy. He goes out there and gets hammered most of the times he goes out there. And another thing, using Raley in that situation was a mistake. That was a Dusty Baker specialty right there, which was a mistake. As my screen, all right, there we go. It was a little blurry there for a second. Dusty just got away with it. So he's gotten away with mistakes this year, and he's also had mistakes that actually cost him games. But, yeah, they get through that. Had bases loaded, nobody out. 10th inning. One stinking run. Just put the ball in play. You most likely score the run. But no. Carlos Correa strikes out. Granted, it was a terrible call. I don't know what the umpire saw, but looking at the replay, the ball had to be like a foot off the plate. And I'm not even exaggerating. It was a foot off the plate. And he missed it. I can't believe that Carlos Correa didn't argue. I mean, if I'm in the batter's box, I turn around and I dig into that umpire. Because that was an atrocious call. But, even still, had bases loaded, one out. Jason Castro, I don't know. I guess Jordan started and left, and I guess, yeah, they took him out in that situation to upgrade the defense. But Jason Castro strikes out, and Gurriel strikes out, and the Astros at that point sort of deserved to lose. Excuse me. But yeah, Ryan Stanek comes in, gives up a run, gives up a 3-run home run, so he had a rough go of it today. And yeah, when you give a team a 4-run lead, even with that leadoff runner at second, you're not going to come back from that. As the Astros do score in the bottom half of the 11th, but lose it 6-3. This was a frustrating loss. But yeah, the Astros, Oakland lost, so they didn't lose any ground, but still, that's not a good. The Astros go 3-4 this week, but I think overall they actually still gained a game in the division, so they're 3.5 up, but they got work to do, man. I mean, they play Kansas City for 3. They owe them some losses coming up here, and then we'll hit the road and be in Texas for 3, a place they haven't played well. But 3-4 week just isn't good enough against teams, especially Kansas City. You can't lose 3 or 4 to Kansas. That's just unacceptable. And you just lost 3 or 4 to Minnesota about a week ago prior to that. So I just, golly, get your stuff together. The Astros, I don't know what it is, man, but this team, you got to start winning these games. I mean, you're getting through your easy part of the schedule, and you barely played 500 baseball. That's what you've done. So get your stuff together is what I have to say to the Astros. I mean, yeah, you got 3 more with Kansas City. You got Texas. You get Seattle again. And then your schedule gets a little big because you got San Diego mixed in there as I look at the schedule here. And then you got another easy, after San Diego, it's Seattle, L.A., Texas, Arizona, L.A. again. And then it's Oakland, Tampa Bay, Oakland to finish it out. But you really got to start putting together some wins, start some winning streaks, something. Just give us something to be excited about. Urquidy gets a rehab start coming up on Tuesday. He's supposed to go 5 innings if all goes well. He'll be back in the rotation before the end of the week. Saturday, I think, would be a scheduled day if things go well. We'll see. I don't know exactly with Urquidy, but and then Bregman, I heard somebody at work today say he could be back off the IL. I'm done guessing with. So yeah, a guy that knows the Astros well, Josh C. is his name, that I work with now, said Bregman could be off the IL and be activated tomorrow. But I'm done guessing with Altuve. I really don't know. I'm gonna wrap things up early tonight because I'm not feeling particularly really well, and I basically covered most. I didn't dive fully into each game, but The starters are doing okay. Bullpen's better. It's just Dusty's got to find a way to manage it better. I mean, he's got to make better decisions as a manager when it comes to just knowing situations. Stop playing the lefty-on-lefty matchups. Just give me the better reliever. We've talked about. I've expressed my concerns with the way the game is handled these days, and Dusty's inept at making easy. I mean, you watch every game I watch, which is almost every single game. It's not that hard because I sit there and I see the TV. I see what's going on. I know what new moves need to be made. And Dusty, for some reason, I don't know if he's too stubborn or what his. I mean, in his post-game press conferences, he'll come up with some way to make it seem like, well, this happened and I had this guy warmed up. And Dusty, you need to own up to the mistakes, man. Just own up to them. When you screw up, you screw up, and take accountability. Don't try to dance around a question or try to give some just reasonable explanation to why you made the wrong decision. But I'm not a big fan of Dusty. Wasn't a big fan of AJ Hinch. I mean, I just... And I'm not going to agree with every decision every manager makes. I understand that. It's just there's simple things I see in a game where it's like, why? What are you doing here? And Dusty just, yeah. Anyway, I got to find some medicine here. Take something. I don't know. I don't want to get sick here. So anyway, I'll wrap things up there. Only 22 minutes here. We'll talk to you next week. Let's see here. Yeah. Expect me next Sunday night if I'm doing good enough. But 22 minutes. We'll wrap things up there. We'll talk to you next Sunday night.